Hi everyone, it's Corey Jones with Remax Sarnia Realty, Home Team Advantage, and proud sponsor of LoveSarniaLampton.ca. I'm here with Dr. Virginia South at Virginia South and Associates, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to get to know Dr. Virginia a little bit better and explain what she does. So first of all, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, we'll see how it goes, but I love that enthusiasm. So first things first, are you from Sarnia?
I am born and raised in Sarnia.
Yeah. Awesome. And other than schooling, have you always been in Sarnia, or did you?
Yeah, so I am a graduate of St. Patrick's High School
Okay.
and left in 1995 for university.
Okay.
But came back every summer. I lifeguarded at Tecumseh Pool every summer until 2000, and then that's when I left for the States for graduate school.
Awesome. That's Tecumseh Pool.
Yeah.
I miss Tecumseh Pool. It's
good memories.
Yeah, absolutely for sure. So my next question was going to be, what high school did you go to? So you went to St. Pat's. That's okay. We don't hold that against you. I was a Viking, but that's okay.
I'm third generation St. Pat. Second generation. My daughter's third generation.
Oh, there
St.
you go.
Pat, so
awesome.
Keeping it in the family.
Yeah, that's cool. It's and it was a lot of fun. It was always a lot of fun having that little bit of rivalry. Sports and things like that too. Did you play any sports in high school?
No.
Okay.
Well, swim team, but that's
Well, that's a sport. Yeah, absolutely. We didn't have a swim team, I don't think. So so there you go. Now, what made you decide to become a psychologist?
Something that I've always wanted to do, and people ask me that question all the time, and I reflect on what was it. And I just remember I like talking, I like hearing people's stories, and I like helping people. Awesome. And so even when I was really little, my parents would say that I used to play psychologist with my sisters.
Really? That's
so awesome. It's just always been something I knew I wanted to do.
Very cool. And do you think you saw it on a movie, or do you think you just thought, I just really want to help people and figure out why they do what they do?
Yeah, I don't think I saw it on a movie. I know my mom had a friend who was a therapist, so I probably heard about what this person does and thought, that sounds really cool. I'm interested in that. But
very cool.
Yeah, it was just kind of an innate thing in me, I guess.
Awesome. So all the way through high school, even you thought, I'm going to do this. And when you first went to post-secondary, was your goal to become a psychologist right from day one, or it was?
It was, but I did become disillusioned in my second year.
Okay.
I started at the University of Guelph. Their program was much more science and research based, and that was not what I wanted to do, and I knew that. Okay. So I took some time off school. I actually considered being a police officer.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Which again, help people and maybe prevent them from doing some of the things they do. And so really, so you contemplated doing that between
Guelph, and then I went to Western.
Okay.
And the program was a better fit for me. There was more clinical counseling, social psych, abnormal psych, and so that's when I got back on track. And when I graduated from there, went right into graduate school.
Awesome. And graduate school where did you go to graduate?
I went to school in Chicago at the Illinois School of Professional Psychology.
Okay.
So I did my master's degree there and then continued on with my doctorate.
Very cool. Now, if somebody wanted to stay in Canada, does it exist to still obtain the same kind of education you've had, or is it...
Basically, yeah. So any Canadian or most Canadian universities offer a master's degree in clinical or counseling psychology. Okay. My doctorate is a doctorate in psychology, and that's only offered in the U.S. Traditional programs here are PhD programs. So it's a doctorate in philosophy. So the difference between those two is that a PsyD, or the doctorate in psychology, focuses on being clinically trained. There's a lot of practical application.
Okay.
They're training people to be in private practice or working at agencies. And a traditional PhD program tends to focus more on research and academia, so teaching at universities.
Gotcha. So much more practical experience going to the and I find that I hear that with a lot of different career choices, a lot of different things, especially in physical and mental health. It seems like a lot more practical experience there. We've got a friend whose daughter's going through for kinesiology, or she'd finished kinesiology and went to Australia for practical, right? Yeah. So it's just, because there's definitely more practical experience there. So very cool. So somebody could still finish their schooling in Canada and become a psychologist, but they wouldn't necessarily get the same type of practical experience as what you
Not the same, but we can do the same thing. At the end of the day, people don't, if you're a psychologist, you have a doctorate, you're registered with the College of Psychologists. So at the end of the day, we kind of look the same, but it was the path getting there that's a little bit different.
Yeah, kind of spoke to you a little bit more that way of doing things.
Yes.
So listen, I saw on your website there's all different areas of And again, I don't know necessarily the difference between psychology and psychotherapy, and if it's even the same, I'm not sure. But I know there's a lot of different specialties. Is there anything you specialize in particular?
So I do individual and couples therapy with adults and adolescents.
Okay.
And one of my special areas that I'm focusing in currently is sex therapy.
Okay.
So I am completing a certification to be a certified sex therapist.
Okay.
And also working on psychedelic assisted therapy. So that's something we're going to be offering in the new year.
Oh, excellent.
But everyone here at my practice, we all do psychotherapy, which is counseling.
Okay.
So, and like I said, we all work with adults, adolescents, and couples.
Okay. Awesome. And can you describe two types of therapy? So when I was going through your website, and I mean, I've heard of different types of therapy and things like that, but I definitely saw there were different types of therapies. Can you describe, maybe one that we may not be familiar with, and what kind of what the benefits are, or what?
Sure.
Yeah.
So one therapy that probably people have heard of is EMDR.
Yes. Okay.
And that's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing is what it stands for.
Okay.
So basically, it's a trauma treatment, and it's meant to help people process through trauma, and it's very effective. So we do offer that here. Excellent. And that was something I was trained in graduate school.
Excellent.
But we also offer just general, I think maybe you saw on the website, I take a more psychodynamic or relational approach, which means that it's really just focusing on the relationship that unfolds between the client and myself, and using that to help the person understand themselves in a deeper way, understand patterns in relationships, how they interact with people, creates the safe environment for them to really dig in and explore and share trauma, work through the trauma, process through it, through kind of more traditional talk therapy.
Okay. Awesome. And speaking of, safe space and things like that, I don't know if anybody can see. I guess you can tell on the camera. This is your office that we're actually interviewing.
Yes.
It's beautiful and it's such a relaxing space, and I can see this would be a perfect spot for coming and sharing what's happening in people's lives and things like that. So that's awesome. In the past, I mean, we talked a little bit just before camera started. There's definitely a stigma attached to when people said I'm going for therapy or I'm going for counseling and things like that. I imagine it's because in the past we didn't necessarily know that there was, that mental health really exists or was even a thing, right? So when did you start to kind of see that that people started to understand it became more about, taking care of themselves, like your terminology used on the website was, I've lost here. So more about just, just dealing with it as health care rather than,
Yeah, I think we're in the middle of that transition where people are starting to see it as more healthcare. This generation of kids and teenagers, adolescents, they are very comfortable with mental health. They're more comfortable talking about it. They're more comfortable saying, I see a therapist, or I have a therapist that I work with, and they're okay talking about it with their friends. Right. So that transition is happening. A lot of people still associate psychotherapy or psychology with people who are mentally ill and have severe mental health issues, and that's not the case. In fact, in an outpatient setting, we aren't seeing people with severe mental health issues. They are significant. There's trauma. There's a lot of history, but people are for the most part wanting to come in and do some healing and repair work, but also to grow and to know themselves better. Right. So they have improved their relationship with themselves, which then improves their relationship with their family and friends, and just improves their quality of life overall. So it's kind of like going to the gym, right? That, that it's something that you put regular effort into to keep your health stabilized and to prevent any future health issues, make yourself more resilient to injuries, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And like the gym may not be necessarily a fun thing to get to, but you always feel better when you've done it, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
That's right.
Yeah, that's great. Now, as far as age limits, like you said yourself, you work with adolescents, you work with adults. Does anybody else on your team work with like youth or young kids, or what age? Like what age do you start to see people?
Usually about age 11. So as for adolescents, 11, 12, it depends on the presenting issue and kind of the individual's ability to sit and talk. We don't do play therapy or traditional therapy with children. I chose not to specialize in children, which means that everybody in my practice stays in the same age limits that I do,
Oh,
because
okay.
I supervise everybody
Okay.
in the practice. So
Gotcha.
everybody has to practice within, their skills and their training, and then I have to be able to supervise them within my skills and my training as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. And how many people are on your team?
There are 6 people, and we have 1 student.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's 1 student just graduating who's staying on, and another student starting in January.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so the one that just graduated, you said, is staying on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. So, excellent. So there's obviously opportunities for people who go to school to join, yourself or other practices in the area. So not they don't have to go somewhere else to do this.
No, absolutely. There's lots of opportunities. There are
Yeah.
lots of opportunities in Sarnia for students to get training.
And I'm guessing lots of opportunity, lots of people with needs that need to need to be talking to someone.
Yes.
Right. So that's awesome. Now I've heard that therapy can be quite expensive. Now, for people who don't have benefits or who don't have the financial means to pay for therapy, do they have options? Is there anything that they can do?
Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of options. I mean, outside of people's extended health benefits,
Okay.
There's coverage through First Nations, through Veterans Affairs, organizations such as that. If somebody's been involved with or a victim of a crime, they can get some funding through Victim Services,
Okay.
the Victim Quick Response Program. But other than that, people are having to usually make an investment in their mental health and kind of budget for that, or use their benefits if their workplace has benefits.
Okay. Now, do you think there'll ever be an opportunity for the government to see mental health as a coverage? It might be something they cover under. It's not called OHIP anymore, but our health benefits. Is that something that you think will ever happen or should happen?
It should happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if it will happen, but it definitely should, because people being healthy mentally affects everything, right? It affects their physical health. It affects just the way they integrate into society.
Right.
It affects everything.
Yeah.
So, just the way we deal with stress is, you can learn how to do that in therapy, and that improves our physical health and functioning. So I think if the government, if they're forward thinking, that would be something that would be really important to cover.
Absolutely.
I hope.
Yeah.
Hope it happens.
For sure. And
it needs to.
Yeah, and and I was thinking that as I was creating my questions, and I just thought, I've got a friend who would love to see a therapist and just can't afford it, and so I think about it often, like, why it's so much more important. I mean, it's equally as important as going and getting checked for
absolutely
a cold or an injury or something like that, because like you say, if your mental health is not, if you're not healthy mentally, then then that will affect
everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. It could cut down on costs on some of the physical.
Well, that's it.
Right? So,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So.
There are some lower cost agencies in town, so that people can look to, and they usually tend to have a longer waiting list, of
for
course.
Sure. Yeah.
And some private practices or community agencies will offer a sliding scale or reduced scale.
Okay.
So, fortunately with having a student here, we do have a reduced rate to see the student. So that's an option that we offer as well.
Nice. And you're still overseeing everything that's going on.
Absolutely. Everything is supervised by me. So
very cool.
I have my hand in everything.
Well, that's awesome. and good opportunity for both your student as well as for people.
That's
too,
right.
So that's excellent. Now, people who have the option to come meet in this extremely comfortable office, it's wonderful. But do you do, like, if there's people who can't come, or if you're working with somebody on a regular basis and they're out of town or something, do you offer Zoom? Yeah. And do you find that it's effective?
It is. A lot of people actually prefer to do video or phone sessions.
Okay.
And it is effective, absolutely. But being in person, you can't beat that, because there's a lot that can't be translated through the video camera or through the telephone, right? Just the energy of sitting two people, making eye contact, there's subtleties in behavior and tone of voice and facial expressions that are missed. But absolutely, video and phone is effective.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And do you offer any like, if there's any after hours appointments needed, things like that, or not regular hours? I guess it's not after hours, so you do occasionally, or you will
evenings.
You do evenings, yeah. Okay, so
everything's by appointment, and we do try to have some evening appointments available, because clearly some people can't make it during the day, right? And it's flexible. It's based on the availability of the therapist, and we do try to work with people to make it accommodate their schedule.
Awesome. Yeah, like in a community like this with a lot of shift work and things
Yes.
too, right? So it's nice to know that they have options, and I'm sure that you're not available every night, all night, and that would be impossible and not good for your mental health. So
That's right.
So, but that's nice that you're able to do that. And your regular office hours are what?
Monday to Friday. We usually start at 9. Sometimes we start a little bit earlier,
Okay.
but we'll go till 6, 7 o'clock at night for the later appointments.
Awesome. And I don't know if I already asked this or not, but for those who don't know, whereabouts are you located?
We are at 221 Mitten Street North.
Okay.
Our brand new renovated building.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
yeah.
I just kind of peeked as I was walking through, and it's beautiful. So that's
you.
awesome. So now, a couple personal questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
We already know you're from here, so obviously,
okay.
and you came back, so I'm sure the water called you back too, just
Absolutely.
like it does everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are there any local businesses that you find yourself frequenting more than others? Yeah. Where do you?
One place I like to shop is Home and Cottage Interiors.
Ah, yes. Okay.
It's a favorite.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, it's kind of your thing, so that's cool.
Yeah. For quick lunches, I like Personal Touch or Greens.
Okay.
This is usually my go-tos for lunch.
Okay. Yeah.
And what else do I like? I love the shops just on Front Street.
Yeah.
In the spring, or summer when it's not cold and rainy out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Walking down there and just popping into the shop. So awesome. I love our waterfront.
Yeah. There's so many cool shops down there. Unfortunately, I kind of touched on it a little bit. We talked before the video. There's been a few close in the last couple of days, or make decisions to close in the last couple of days, and that's hard. It's tough to get to every one of them, but it is so important to get down there. And we do have a cool vibe happening down there, right? So I'm going to ask you real personal now. So Greens is one of your spots. Are you vegan or vegetarian?
No,
you just love their.
I do.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Very
it's different.
Cool. Yeah, it is different.
I love trying different food.
Awesome.
But my go-to favorite restaurant is I really like Mexico. So I did my internship training in Austin, Texas, and I lived there for 4 years. So I love Mexican food.
Okay.
And I love sitting on their Front Street patio having a margarita in the summer.
So Mexico, and actually, and unfortunately, they're ones that made an announcement that
they're
closing in December. Yeah, sometime in December. So there you go. You're gonna have to find a new place. So maybe there's a business opportunity for somebody. We need Mexican restaurants. Las Puntos Cantina is good, but it's a little further for work or for lunch break for you. But that's one of the ones that made a decision. I just read it this morning.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Well.
So listen. Besides lovesarnielambton.ca, which people are going to be able to find you on tomorrow. This interview will be posted tomorrow. Where can people find you if they want information on your services and a little bit about you? Are you on socials? Or your website? Okay.
Website is drvirginiasouth.com. So drvirginiasouth.com.
Okay.
Facebook, Dr. Virginia South and Associates.
Okay.
And Instagram, Dr. Virginia South.
Awesome. So you're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They can find you everywhere. Excellent. Well, hopefully check us out or check her out on lovesarnielambton.ca as well. But listen, I really appreciate your time today. If anybody has been considering talking to a therapist or knows somebody who should be, again, I think we probably all should be at some point in our lives, right? Definitely reach out to Dr. Virginia South and Associates. She's here right on Mitten Street. If you have any real estate questions, reach out to us at hometeamadvantage.ca, or you can give us a call at 519-331-5552. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I think this is such an important thing for people to see, and important that people know that you're here, right?
Yeah.
And everybody needs help sometimes, and everybody needs to talk to somebody who maybe is not their best friend or family member, because unfortunately we're not all trained to be able to offer the type of guidance that they may need, right? So thanks again for joining us today. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.